go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Snap Material. We are coming back at you. It's the beginning of July, and it's one of the few times that we actually record before the season drops. Usually we're trying to catch up shortly afterwards, but this time we got in there just before the new one is going to hit this coming Tuesday, right? The 8th?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, the Masters of the Arcane did last roughly 38 weeks.
Yes, in eternity. More of that in the meta. Let's go ahead and talk about last season, which was Masters of the Arcane, dropped June 3rd, 2025. We're going to start out with the card that you could have got along with the season pass. And that is Merlin, 2 cost, 3 power. At the start of each turn, add an incantation to your hand. The incantations being as such. Polymorph, which is a 1 cost skill card. On reveal, transform your lowest power card here into one that costs 1 more. You then have once and future, 1 cost, 0 power. On reveal, I don't even need to talk about power here. Just need to remind myself that. These are all skills. Once and future, which is a 1 cost. On reveal, shuffle your lowest power card here into your deck to get +2 energy next turn. And then you have Omniversal Presence, which costs 1. And on reveal, replace this location with a new one and give Merlin +2 power. So I saw a fair amount of Merlin this season. I never was paying attention to how much his spells cost and which ones were coming out there, but I did see Polymorph an awful lot where people were changing it. But actually, now that I think about it, it may have been a spread of all 3 because I can recall people changing the location quite a few times, seeing people shuffle their card back into their deck. Okay. I don't know if it was a huge turnaround for these people who were doing this or not. Didn't seem like a big card, but it was one of those new cards that can get you some skill cards, which ties in with some other stuff that's out there right now. And that was kind of my interaction. How about you, Evan Bevins?
Yeah, I held out a little bit, and then I'm like, I'm going to try this Merlin out. A day or 2 into the season, I pulled the trigger. I found him pretty useful. He's a card that can fit in almost any deck. There's a few that I think he's better with than others. I did, pair him up with Aga Moto more than a few times. I had a deck that I named after watching Infinity War with my kids called Magic with a Kick. I found him to be pretty useful. I'm vamping so that I can pull up my deck that I used with him. I use him with the Collector a lot because each one of those cards he creates doesn't come from your deck. So he gives the Collector a boost.
Oh, okay. That's nice. That's good.
And yeah, he keeps doing them, and he doesn't like go 1, 2, 3 in order. It's just randomly generated cards. Sometimes you can get 2 polymorphs or 2 once and futures. So yeah, I put him in that one magic deck with some cards that work well with Collector, like Nick Fury. I actually changed this one around. I'll talk more about it when we get into one of the other cards. Another thing I tried with him was, since he's generating so many 1-cost cards, put him in with the Collector. And another card we'll talk about, some cards like Hit Monkey. I'm finally finding uses for Hit Monkey. Werewolf by Night, because each of those is an on-reveal. So you get the werewolf jumping around there. Sasquatch. Yeah. The more of those cards you put out, the more you lower Sasquatch's cost. Kitty Pryde. So I found him to be pretty useful. And I think you could probably fit him into a lot as a general 2-cost card. But when you have a bunch of cards that he has synergy with, that made him pretty effective this season, I thought.
Oh, wow. Well, that's good. I wondered about your comment that he fits well into other decks. I guess that makes a lot of sense because he's not really dependent upon somebody else doing something. There's other cards that kind of could use him to the advantage. He used some of those skill cards and stuff to his advantage. That's always good to have those versatile cards. So that's kind of good to hear. Okay. Well, next up, Morgan Le Fay, 4 cost, 7 power. On reveal, return all your discarded and destroyed cards to hand with +3 power. I don't know if I ran into her at all. I think I might have ended up with her at some point. She's 4 cost, 7 power. That's a fair amount of power. And she's bringing everything that's been destroyed back to your hand, which is kind of nice, especially if it's got +3 power. I mean, come on, that's got to help. But I didn't pull the trigger on her, so I did not get her. And I don't think I saw her much at all this season. Probably in the shadow of some of these other big cards, maybe. Your thoughts on Morgan Le Fay?
I did not see her a lot. I know I played against her a couple times, and I remember seeing some of those cards come back, but she didn't. I think I said last month she made me think of Hella Light because she brought the cards back and boosted them, but didn't immediately put them in play. I did get her eventually after a couple weeks. I've mainly been getting the 5,000 token current season card pack, saving 1,000 by not targeting a specific one. There weren't a whole lot of cards that I was trying to avoid from this season or last. There was one, and that was the first one I got. I had a clear-cut bottom of my list. And then the other one that was next on the bottom of my list, I will talk about in a little bit, I was wrong about. I misjudged this character card. So I got her eventually. I haven't experimented a lot with her because there were a couple of events that called for certain cards, one of them an extremely narrow set of cards, and just haven't experimented a lot with her, but I'd still like to try it out. I just haven't been going that way much lately.
Right. Well, let me know what you find out when you do start using her. And bringing them back with +3, as long as they're low cost, it's just a matter of like, okay, hey, that Killmonger's going to wipe some things out. So maybe that'll help. If you've got that set up, drop her on a turn 4 and bring back some 4-point squirrels. Not bad at all. Yeah. Zombie squirrels. Next up, Nicholas Scratch. 1 cost, 2 power after you play a skill, +1 power. I still don't have enough skills cards to even consider him useful. And as a matter of fact, he's kind of like, because they're throwing him in, after these cards are not featured, they then go into a pack of cards. And he is almost like Uncle Ben level for me, where I kind of don't want to take a chance because I'm afraid I'm going to get him and I'm not going to have any use for him. I mean, Uncle Ben's got a use, but 1 cost, 2 power, and I don't really have a whole lot of skill cards. It's going to be like a waste if I end up with it. So your thoughts on Nicholas Scratch?
Well, yeah, I was grumbling about him last time because I preferred Jennifer Kale. But, a 1-2 is basically Misty Knight without the afro. Right. So, which is disappointing. Nicholas Scratch with an afro. Let's give that a try. Or Uncle Ben with an afro. So, no, I don't think he's definitely not Uncle Ben levels of hard to use or justify. I would definitely rank him ahead of Uncle Ben. I did get him, and I think I said last time I started throwing him in with Aga Moto. And then I also realized, listening to the last episode, that I mocked you for saying Nicholas Scratch could be useful. Then I got some more skill cards. I got Merlin, got a few others, and if you're running those cards, why wouldn't you have him in there? With Merlin's skill cards, they're only 1 cost, so you can get several of them out there. So other than the Killmonger Glassjaw, he's actually pretty useful. Good. Still can't remember if I've ever read a comic with him in it, but yeah, he's actually been in a few decks because if I've got Merlin and or Aga Moto in the deck, it's like, why wouldn't I put Nicholas Scratch in? It's not like you go, okay, I got Nicholas Scratch, let's build a deck around him. But if you're using some of those other cards,
give him a shot.
I know I said last time, I'm like, oh, wow, a 1/6. Well, a 1/6 is better than a 1/2 or a 1/3.
Right. A 1/5 that's going to lose you a game.
Yeah, so I think that's why they keep churning out so many Martyr variants. The Martyr cards look pretty cool. I actually found him more useful than I expected.
Okay, good.
So useful. I wish he was a character that I knew something about.
All right, next up, Jennifer Kale. 2 cost, 2 power. Activate next turn. You get +1 energy. I think I got her once with Erisham. I haven't seen her a ton out there. She's 2/2. She gives you energy when you want it. We talked about how last time I said that Psylocke should get a buff because of her, but you said, hey, this is 2 cost, 2 power when you want this energy. You may not want it right then. You can wait till 5th turn or something like that. But Anyway, I can't say I saw her too much, and I definitely did not get her. So did you have any thoughts on Jennifer Kale?
I didn't see her a lot. I would still like to get her, and maybe part of that has something to do with the fact that she was in, I think it was called Adventure into Fear, number 19, which is not a comic I'm lying about and making up, which was the first appearance of Howard the Duck, where she was attacked by a barbarian made of peanut butter. Are you serious? I am serious. Okay. So, looking at her last name, they didn't base that off food, right? He's a superfood. That's right. So yeah, and I mean, she's got ties to Man-Thing and Ghost Rider and stuff like that. So she's like one of those characters that's always kind of off to the side. She was portrayed in Agatha All Along as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, she knows somebody who knows one of your favorite comic book characters.
Gotcha.
I do think she has a place, but I've been shooting for those 5,000 point series 5 season packs. I don't do a good job saving up. Usually as soon as I hit 5,000, I'm like, let's see what I can get. Gone the 2,000 route. I could pay 2,000 tokens and have a 50-50 shot of getting her or Hellion. And Hellion's not bad, but he's Sebastian Shaw levels of annoying to me. It's illogical. I know Sebastian Shaw worked out well. Nicholas Scratch worked out well. I've made my peace with MODOK. But, besides the fact that usually the Series 5 cards, I'm going to want more than Jennifer Kale, let alone that little snot. I just haven't pulled any triggers there. So maybe next time there's an outage or an anniversary thing where we get some extra tokens, I'll take another shot at her.
All right. So you mentioned how long this season felt. This next card, when I was looking over the list, I thought that I was like, wait a second, that was this season? Because I could have swore it was the previous season. Well, maybe it was earlier in the season. I don't know. But the ancient one, 3 cost, 5 power, which I did end up getting. On reveal, add Tal Mandala to your hand. Tal Mandala is a 3 cost skill card. On reveal, copy the text of one of your ongoing cards. Is it a skill card? It is, isn't it?
It is a skill card, yeah.
All right.
See, now you got somebody to hang out with Nicholas Scratch.
Right. Copy the text.
Just itching to get him in your deck now.
Oh, yes. Got to scratch that itch. Copy the text of one of your ongoing cards here onto other characters here. And so, yeah, this had to have been early in the season, like maybe probably before maximum overdrive. What's it called?
Have the Green Goblin.
What is it called again? High voltage.
High voltage overdrive.
High voltage. That's right. So I had a Cerebro deck that I was running and that I really liked having this in. I don't have too many complaints yet about the cards. Sometimes it's tough to get that 3 cost in there and have all the other cards out there that you want for that to happen. But I've had it successfully work a few times. Haven't found tremendous game breaking success or anything like that, but it can win you some games. So you got any thoughts?
I wanted to get it, but I'm more focused on saving 1,000 tokens than handpicking a card. So I haven't gotten it yet. Obviously with the 3 cost, team her up with the Silver Surfer, with that replicating the ongoings, I could definitely see it going in my Cap Doom deck. A lot of ongoings there. I didn't use that one much this season. Not sure why. That's always a pretty reliable one. But yeah, I would like to get it, but I didn't see her a ton. I saw her a few times, but it's one of those that I can definitely see it being useful, but didn't take the game by storm or anything.
I think it's a situation where we had a lot of cards this season.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people were like, okay, these are the cards that I think are the best out of this 20 that are coming out this season. And they went for those. And therefore we have the Jennifer Kales and Morgan Le Fay's. Just, people didn't want to spend anything on them in order to get the top tier of what they think is coming in a season. So, but yeah, I think that's probably why you haven't seen them very much. This next one, I hardly ever saw. Cobra, 2 cost, 3 power, activate, destroy an enemy created card here. I don't even remember it. I don't even know if maybe I got them with an Airsham deck. I have no idea. My plan last time was use Master Mold to throw created cards into their hand, but I didn't have a chance to put that strategy into play because I don't have the cards. I didn't see anybody using something that was revelatory to me where I was like, oh my gosh, I need Cobra. So what about you?
I'm about to tell you something revelatory. No, not really, but I did get Cobra and I made a deck with Cobra.
Okay.
I wouldn't build a deck around Cobra. I'm not sure how great it is. I called it Mos Eisley because it's primarily bad guys. It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy, with the exception of Darkhawk and Black Widow. Basically, it's like a garbage deck. It just puts a bunch of crap in your opponent's deck and hand. So I've got Darkhawk and the Rock Brothers.
Yep.
I got Master Mold, like you suggested. Got Gorgon to add 1 cost, another card you think is useless. Got Cassandra Nova to tear it down. Got Black Widow to toss the Widow's Bite out there, and even Doc Ock, if you can time it right, to immediately pull that in, and then Darkhawk and Ronan to take advantage of the swollen decks and hands.
Wow. All right. And do you remember?
Heck, I've even got Esme Cuckoo in that deck.
Oh, very good. I think she's a pretty versatile card. I haven't used her, but the more I think about it, I wish I would have had the opportunity. I still have the opportunity to get her. Hopefully I will at some point. I'm not going to cry when I do.
Thought she was one of the stars of NYX, but she's not. It's her sister, Sophie.
Oh, all right then.
I don't remember them.
Your Cobra deck, did you find some success, or did you just have fun messing with other?
I didn't want to spoil things for the meta discussion, but I am basically at the point I was when the season started. In terms of the ladder, I've just been going back and forth. I've been making fun decks and stuff like that. So I don't know if that deck, I mean, it probably still needs tweaked a little bit. And with events and other stuff, I just keep wandering off from it or getting distracted by squirrels or shiny objects. And so I want to try it again and see what else I can do with it. Actually trying to remember why I put Esme in there in the first place. Hope it's not one of those things where I was adjusting the deck while I was drowsy and then just hit the wrong card.
Boy, have I been there. I have been there.
I think it's just so she can copy some of those troublemaking cards.
Well, like I said, I think what makes her so valuable is she's very much like a crystal. Without giving your opponent a card, you get to pull one of yours a little bit earlier because it's copying a card out of your deck, and that we know
it can be cheaper or more powerful than it usually is. So
right, with the big hubbub around Adam Warlock there for the longest time, we know that drawing cards is the most valuable power you can have in Marvel Snap, apparently. So, Esme Cuckoo. All right. Okay. Next up, Kid Omega, 2 cost, 1 power. Destroy the next card you play this turn. Gain its power. And this was a very controversial card. We'll probably talk about it a little bit more in the meta here. But I don't think I saw him too much, mainly because of it was probably out of the range of some people to try and get him. My understanding is that in order to get him, if you wanted to get him without trying to pay for something, you had to grind and grind and grind some stupid level of grinding in order to knock him out, because he was the prize card in the high voltage.
Mm-hmm.
But his price was crazy. So
I didn't get close. I saw him once. I could see using him with, just in a destroy deck, with Elixir, with Morgan Le Fay, there's definitely a use for him. I've read some cool stories with him, so I did want to get him, other than that one time, which might have been in a high voltage match. But if you got through high voltage and got Kid Omega, I can't imagine wanting to play more. Maybe I was mistaken about that. Maybe it was in Sanctum Sanctorum, but yeah, I saw him one time. And I figured he'll be out there eventually. He's got low cost and some good synergy, so I'll want to get him eventually. Other than the fact that that's the first time I've ever seen one. I was holding out hope that they were going to dump a bunch of points or something to make it up toward the end. But I know it's in Deadpool's Diner. I don't think I'm getting this card. And this one, as it went on, I'm like, well, unless they do something crazy, it ain't coming close to this one.
There was a call for it, too. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a few. All right, next up, Nightmare, 3 cost, -1 power. Replace the text of each card in your hand with text from a random card of the same cost. And boy, was I excited about this card. I ended up getting it, and I like him. I think he's a lot of chaos and makes your decks fun. Really, you could throw him just about in anything you want. There's definitely some stuff that goes with Nightmare, but if you just wanted to be like, okay, I'm going to throw all this stuff in here, nothing's going to matter anyway, as long as I got a lot of cards in my hand. I liked them. I created a deck pretty quickly that had, oh my goodness, mainly high cost, big drawback, such as Infinite. That was the big one. Normally I can't play him, and now I can lay him down, and he's got the power of the Red Hulk just to go along with that. It's not a drawback now. So it's fun to add that element of the unknown. If you plan on having bad cards and then switch things up, the likelihood of them being good is possibly likely. What I hate is when I lay out Nightmare and I'm like scrambling to read everything before my turn runs out. Because I'm like, okay, what's this guy do? What's this guy do? Okay, this guy. And then I'm like, all right, I'll lay him out. Because you got to really think fast. Go ahead, man.
Oh, no, I definitely had some where somebody wasn't paying attention. I know at one point somebody, and I was kind of playing one of those games and I was doing something else, so I wasn't quite paying attention, but somebody played Red Skull and he hobgoblined over to my side of the board. And the only reason that I haven't done something like that is because I don't have Nightmare yet. I think it was a friend of mine who pointed out that he's a natural fit with Sauron decks. Because you're trying to eliminate as many of those powers as possible. He'd also be good as a backup in case you don't get War Machine, like you said, with Ebony Maw. And yeah, there's definitely some times where it could be useless or terrible, but a lot of times, especially where there's a downside, there's a good chance it'll improve your lot. I would like to get him. I was a little disappointed I didn't, but I would like to get him. And yeah, just first off, go with Sauron and War Machine decks and see how that pans out.
I think one of the toughest things to do is get your hand filled up by the time you lay him out there. If you only have 3 cards in your hand, you lay out Nightmare, only 2 cards are going to change. The rest in your deck stay the same, which kind of stinks. So that's one of the things I was building towards, like, oh, okay, I need to make sure I have a lot of people. So I would put cards in my deck that would give me cards to fill up my hand. So when Nightmare came out, okay, now all of a sudden I've got a lot of choices.
Might even be good with the Sentinels, just like in X Factor number 49, where Nightmare seems more effective in Snap than he is in the comics. But he's a big mystical bad guy that everybody gets to beat at some point.
Right. All right, the big bad. Next up, Dormammu, 7 cost, 11 power. Game start. Begin a summoning ritual. Add step 1 to hand. Step 1, on reveal, merge this. Yeah, this is summoning ritual 1 is on reveal, merge your highest power destroyed card with Dormammu to continue. Then the second ritual is on reveal, because you do the first one, you're going to go to the second one. I believe this is how this works. On reveal, then you step in here if you know any different. On reveal, Dormammu steals 1 power from each card here. And then it goes to the next one. Summoning Ritual 3, on reveal, destroy 2 of your characters here to summon Dormammu. So I did not get Dormammu. I played against him quite a bit. He's got himself a nice little animation. When you're playing against him, a little demon shows up. There's Dormammu. But I don't think I've lost a ton to him. I've had probably just half and half, really, when it comes to the win-loss ratio against Dormammu. So he's running around with a lot of destroy. That's about all I can say. So what are your thoughts on Dormammu?
I did not get him either. I was just trying my luck. I did have him pop up, or his summoning rituals pop up into my hands a couple times thanks to the Daily Bugle. I actually did play him at one point. The first time I faced him was in a high voltage overdrive game, so I had a 7 cost Dormammu that I just had enough power to throw out there, or something happened there. The first time I played against him, I think I sent you this one, my opponent got all 3 of his summonings out. I knew where he was probably going to go. That's one thing about him, is if you have Shang-Chi or somebody to mess with him, it's usually pretty easy to predict where he's going to appear. Of course, they'll take out 2 cards. I knew my cards were going to flip first, so I knew that I wasn't going to be able to take him out with Shang-Chi. He played the summoning on the right lane, where he had also played Wong. Okay. Final summoning destroyed Wong in another card. Then it repeated its on-reveal effect and destroyed Dormammu, and I got his 27 points added to my null.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So I'm not even making fun of the other player. I'm just glad it happened. Like, when I was in college, my mom will love that I tell this story. I called home one day and she was laughing, and I'm like, what happened? She's like, I just backed through the garage door. I'm like, you did what now? I'm like, and I was relieved, because I was like, I'm going to do that one day. I'm not going to see that the garage door is open and I'm going to do it. So yeah, I would totally do that. I would totally play the summoning ritual on Wong or something. So yeah, that one
you learned something
in my favor.
You watched and learned. That's great.
Yes.
And like I said, I think that he's a pretty big deal. I have yet to be convinced that I would want to spend something to get him, but I'm sure some other people out there who love to play Destroy or whatever are singing his praises.
Yeah, I thought about just holding out for him and trying to get the extra 1,000 tokens, but I hated to pay full price. So, when it comes to Ramambo, I want a bargain.
There it is. All right, next up, Clea. 1 cost, 2 power. When this permanently gains power, add Flames of the Faultine to your hand, if in hand or in play. Flames of the Faultine, which I did not see. I think that costs 3.
No, it's just 1 cost.
It's just 1 cost. On reveal, afflict an enemy card here with -2 power. I thought, was it -3 before? I can't remember.
Still -3. I think it's still -3. Hang on, let me pull the card up.
Because I thought it was -3 as well. I wrote down -2, and I don't know. I didn't change it.
That's
so
-3.
Okay, this is another one I haven't seen very much. I was wondering today, can this happen multiple times?
Yes, it can.
All right, that's what I was wondering, because if she's continually gaining power, then you're getting this Flames of the Faultine in your hand each time that happens, which is pretty cool. Now it makes a little bit more sense. So I didn't play against her very much. What about you?
Yeah, I got her when I opened a pack not long after she debuted, and she immediately went in with my other Magic users because Flames of the Faultine is a skill.
True.
And then luckily I had read, you know who Robert Kirkman is, right?
Yes. Yes. I
Okay.
do. Invincible.
Yeah. Invincible, Walking Dead. Yeah. But he also had a stint at Marvel for a while. He wrote Marvel Team Up. Most notably, he had an in-continuity crossover with Invincible. That's in an issue of Marvel Team Up and referenced in issues of Invincible.
What?
Yeah. He also did a story we got to do on source material sometime called The League or the Legion of Losers. It was Darkhawk, Sleepwalker, Dagger, Terror Incorporated, Gravity, who I love. He did some cool stuff. And then before he went over to Image full time, he did an issue of Marvel Team Up where Clea teamed up with Marvel Boy. And they were sent on a mission by the Collector. And I made all that up. But those three, I mean, no, he really did have a crossover with Invincible and League of Losers. But that has nothing to do with anything except Marvel Boy goes wherever Clea goes in my decks, because you get him out there and you don't load up on a bunch of 1-cost cards. She's going to gain 1 power every time.
Right. She's going to get
got Collector out there, then that's going to add a card to your hand. Then you play that -3. Nicholas Scratch gets a +1.
Wow.
So, yeah, she's been pretty good. I didn't exactly make a deck around her, but I took my Magic with a Kick idea and tweaked it some more with Galacta and Gwenpool. If the power gets added in the hand, she creates a Flames of the Faultine.
Yeah, I'm there too.
And then now I did take from somebody else who was doing something similar. They put in, which I didn't originally have, Werewolf by Night, because a lot of those skill cards are on reveals.
That's smart.
So yeah, I thought I had one with Astral Projection, but I must have taken it out. I thought I put Astral Projection in with all the other Magic users, but that worked pretty well for me. Didn't make a whole lot of progress with anything, but that one was pretty interesting. So I refined that, and that's why I didn't go into Morgan Le Fay and some of the other ones, because I was still messing around with this stuff. But yeah, Clea, you may as well have Marvel Boy, you may as well have Collector, you may as well have Nicholas Scratch.
I like it. I like that. That's something I didn't expect, because I was not giving her the benefit of the doubt, really.
I wasn't either, but those Flames of the Faultines, those are on reveals too, so you can really get the Werewolf by Night going and then throw Hit Monkey in there and get a cheap Sasquatch out of it.
I like that. I like it. All right, yeah, and you mentioned this last one, Astral Projection. This is a card that you were getting at the end of the Sanctum Showdown event.
Didn't really have to be at the end of it, although once I got it, I played like 3 more times. Well, I got it, and then it was like a huge climb to get more, and I'm like, I'm just going to go back and try to get to 90, and that didn't work either, so maybe I should have stayed in Sanctum Showdown longer.
Well, 3 cost, a skill card, on reveal, copy the text of an on reveal card in your hand. I did not play enough Sanctum Showdown to try for this card. I think it was pretty attainable, but I don't know why I just dropped out of it, so I didn't get it. I mean, it seems very... We didn't mention this last season because I don't think we knew.
I didn't realize it was a thing.
Did you say you got it?
Yeah, I got it. I swear I put it in a deck, but I can't find it now. I think I may have already cycled it out. just found some other things to go in instead. It basically gives you another on reveal, and there's plenty of cards we like that do that. Wand,
Right.
Misery, Absorbing Man. It's another boost to Nicholas Scratch. I think it would be good. I need to go back. My island's in the stream. Those skill cards, when they disappear, they let you play stuff and still leave it clear for no more. Yeah, I need to see if I can work it into that one.
It probably would work well. Okay, next up, locations. We got Camelot. After turn 5, set all cards here to 5 power. I was trying to get a lot of cards out there to fill up by the time turn 5 hit. I was probably playing Squirrel Girl and trying to just get as many 0 cost or 1 cost cards out there. And then turn 5 hits, Legion that, and now all of a sudden every card that you've got there, as low cost as they were, are now 5 power. That usually would put me in the lead because the other guy probably may have 1 or 2 cards out there, unless they're thinking the same thing I am. So I had a good time with it. I legioned it a few times. I didn't really stick around and play it all day. It was a location. It showed up a few times since it's been featured, and I like it. I don't think it ruins anything. It just adds a fun aspect to the game. Any thoughts on Camelot?
Yeah, fun one. I just try to make sure I put low power cards there. I think there was one time where I needed to play a card there, but it was well over 5, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It can affect your thinking, and you can do some cool stuff with it.
Then next up was Astral Plane. After this turn, add a 0 power copy of a card from your hand here. And I thought, I'll Legion this thing. Well, no, that's not how that's going to work, because at the very most, it's going to be turn 3. You'd have to have Legion by turn 3 in order to play it and mess everybody up. Then once it's played, it doesn't activate again, I assume, unless you have, maybe Snow Guard might make it work. I don't even know if that'll work, because I can hardly figure out what Snow Guard does. Anyway, so I was using my Cerebro deck here and hoping that it would, okay, let's pull another Cerebro out there or something like that. But other than that, I don't know if I played that much that day either. So what about you?
Yeah, it all depends on which card it gets. I wish I remembered what card it was, but the stuff I had in my hand, I played it so that it was more likely to pull a card that I wanted. But I mean, not that it made a huge difference. It was just like, okay, well, yeah, I could use another copy of that card.
Iron Man would be good.
Could be a pain if you get something that is primarily dependent on its power and doesn't have a useful action. So I could see it. Can you imagine if it decided to copy Ebony Maw for you?
Oh, what a waste.
Yeah. So it can throw in some interesting wrinkles.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our discussion of the June season, Masters of the Arcane for Marvel Snap. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.